Well, hey, y'all, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Yes, sir.
Now, today we're headed on down to Livingston, Tennessee
Okay.
to visit the McGie Homestead, y'all.
Right.
And I know y'all are interested in living a life closer to what the good Lord intended.
Yes.
And let me tell you something.
Okay.
The McGie family might just have some answers for us.
I think so.
They're doing things a little bit different, and let me tell you, folks are taking notice.
Oh, yeah. They got a huge following.
They do.
Their YouTube channel, McGie Homestead Adventures, has over 84,000 subscribers.
Wow.
And 30 million views.
That's incredible.
People are really interested in their unique approach to life.
Yes.
Faith.
Yeah.
And family.
It's truly inspiring to see a family living out their faith in such a tangible way.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're really walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Right. And what I think is so fascinating is how they're challenging conventional thinking about so many things, especially when it comes to raising children and education.
Yes.
They're turning those big city ideas upside down.
Yeah, I love that.
Showing folks that there's more than one way to do things.
Yeah. I love how they're not afraid to question the status quo.
Right.
It reminds me of that verse in Proverbs 18.15, the heart of the discerning acquires knowledge, for the ears of the wise seek it out.
That's a perfect verse for this.
Isn't it?
They're constantly learning and growing,
Yes.
seeking out new ways to live a more meaningful life.
Yes.
And one of the most striking things about their approach is how they view their children, not as burdens, but as valuable members of the family team.
Now, Micah McGee himself said,
Yes.
our children are not a burden, but are operating in the family unit as one, achieving our goals together.
Yes, and this working together mentality really shines through in their approach to education.
Absolutely.
They've created what they call a living classroom right there on their homestead.
Yes, they have.
Instead of sending their kids off to school, they're teaching them real-life skills.
I love it.
From tending animals to growing food to building and fixing things. It's a hands-on education that you just can't get from a textbook.
And think about the kind of skills they're developing. Problem solving, critical thinking,
Yes.
resilience, and a deep understanding of the natural world.
Absolutely.
Those are valuable assets in any walk of life.
That's right.
It makes you realize that education ain't just about memorizing facts and figures.
Right.
It's about preparing young folks for the challenges and opportunities of life and helping them grow into responsible, capable adults.
Now, let's dive a little deeper into this idea of a living classroom.
Okay.
One example that stood out to me was when the McGee children built their own chicken coop.
Oh, I remember that video.
Yes.
It was amazing to see those youngsters working together, using their hands and solving problems as they went along.
Exactly. They had to learn about carpentry measurement, even a bit of engineering.
Yes.
To make sure that the coop was sturdy and safe for the chickens.
Right.
And they learned about teamwork,
Yes.
communication,
Right.
and perseverance in the process.
It's like a real-life lesson in problem solving and collaboration, all wrapped up in a fun and meaningful project.
And this type of learning goes beyond practical skills.
Oh, it does.
It instills a sense of responsibility,
Yes.
a deep connection to nature, and a work ethic that will serve them well in any endeavor.
You know, it reminds me of that verse in Colossians 3.23.
Okay.
Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters.
That's a powerful connection.
It is.
The McGees are demonstrating that even seemingly ordinary tasks
Yes.
can be infused with purpose and meaning when we approach them with a heart of service to God.
And that brings us to the heart of their message,
Right.
faith and family.
Yes.
You can truly feel the Lord's presence in everything they do.
Micah McGee often talks about how God created us for friendship, not punishment,
Right.
and their homestead life is a testament to that belief. They're living in harmony with God's creation, raising their children in a loving and supportive environment, and building a community based on faith and shared values.
I love how their homestead serves as a kind of ministry, a place where they can share their faith and their lifestyle with others.
Yeah.
It's like they're showing us that it's possible to live a life that's both practical and spiritual, grounded in hard work,
Yes.
and guided by the love of God.
That's right. And that's a powerful message for those of us like yourself, seeking a life closer to God's plan.
Absolutely.
It's about integrating faith into every aspect of our lives,
Yeah.
not just compartmentalizing it for Sundays.
Preaching to the choir here. I tell you, watching their videos always gives me a little boost of inspiration.
Yeah.
It's like a reminder that we can create a life that's full of joy, purpose, and connection, even amidst the hustle and bustle of the modern world.
Right, and a big part of that is the sense of community they foster.
Yeah.
They're not just doing this for themselves.
Yeah.
They're sharing their knowledge and experiences with others, both online and in their local community.
Now, speaking of community, the McGees are big on encouraging folks to connect with like-minded people.
Yes.
They even started a group called Social Media Masterminds Overton County,
Mm-hmm.
where folks gather every Thursday morning at the coffee shop on the square in Livingston.
It's a beautiful example of how technology can be used to build real-world connections and support systems.
Yeah.
And it speaks to a deep human need for belonging,
Yes.
for fellowship,
Mm-hmm.
for sharing our journeys with others who understand our values.
It's like that verse in Hebrews 10:24-25. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching.
The McGees embody that verse, don't they?
They really do.
They're building a community where people can support each other, learn from each other, and grow in their faith together. And they're not shy about inviting others to join them on this journey.
And what strikes me? It's not about perfection.
Right.
They're not presenting themselves as some kind of homesteading gurus who have it all figured out.
Mm-hmm.
They're open about their struggles, their mistakes, and the challenges they face.
That's what makes them so relatable.
Yes.
It's that authenticity that draws people in.
Yes.
They're not afraid to be vulnerable,
Right.
to show the ups and downs of homestead life.
Yeah.
And that makes their message all the more powerful.
It's like they're saying, hey, we're all in this together.
Yes.
We're all learning and growing and trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
And we don't have to do it alone.
Exactly. And that's such an important message, especially for those of us who are new to homesteading or just starting to explore a more intentional way of life.
You're right.
It can feel daunting.
Yeah.
But knowing there's a community out there, folks who are walking a similar path, makes all the difference.
That sense of community is something we're all craving these days. It's like we've lost that connection with our neighbors, with our faith, and with the land that sustains us.
And the McGees are showing us that it's possible to reclaim those connections.
Yes.
They're living proof that we can choose a different path.
Right.
A life that's more in tune with our values, our faith, and the rhythms of nature.
And it's not just about escaping the rat race. It's about replacing it with something more meaningful, something that nourishes our souls.
It's about finding joy in the simple things
Mm-hmm.
and the everyday moments of connection with God, with family, and with the natural world.
Sometimes it feels like the world's gone crazy. Like we're all just running around in circles, chasing after things that don't really matter.
But then you see families like the McGees, and it gives you hope.
Yes, it does.
They're living proof that another way is possible,
Mm-hmm.
a life that's grounded in faith, family, and a deep respect for God's creation.
It's like they're holding up a lantern, shining a light on a path that's been there all along. A path that leads to a life that's more peaceful, more purposeful, more in line with God's plan for us.
And they're inviting us to join them on that path.
Yeah.
It's not about perfection. It's about taking those small steps,
Mm-hmm.
those intentional choices that move us closer to the life God intended for us.
And like you said, we don't have to do it alone.
That's right.
We can lean on our faith, our family, our community for support and encouragement.
It's about building each other up, sharing our burdens, and celebrating each other's victories.
Yes.
It's about remembering that we're all part of something bigger than ourselves,
Right.
a family united by our love for God and our desire to live a life that honors Him.
Now, that brings us to something that's been really resonating with me, the McGee's emphasis on living intentionally.
Okay.
They talk about it all the time, but what does that really mean in our everyday lives?
It's a great question. I think it boils down to making conscious choices that align with our values and our faith.
So it's not just about what we do, but why we do it.
Exactly. It's about bringing intention and purpose to every aspect of our lives, from the food we eat,
Yeah.
to the work we do, to the way we interact with others.
It's about asking ourselves, does this choice reflect the love of God? Does it honor the gifts He's given me? Does it contribute to the well-being of my family and my community?
It's a constant process of checking in with ourselves, evaluating our choices, and making adjustments as needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's about striving to live a life that's congruent with our beliefs, our values, and our relationship with God.
And that can look different for each of us, right?
Right.
Not everyone's called to be a homesteader.
Uh-huh.
But we can all strive to live more intentionally in our own unique ways.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
For some, it might be about spending more time in nature, connecting with God's creation. For others, it might be about finding ways to serve their community or build stronger relationships with their loved ones.
It's about identifying the things that truly matter to us and then making choices that support those values.
And it's about letting go of the things that don't align with our purpose, the things that drain our energy and distract us from living a life that's full of joy and meaning.
Thinking about living intentionally, I keep coming back to this verse from Micah 6:8. He has shown you, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God.
That's such a powerful verse.
It is.
It encapsulates the essence of living a life that's pleasing to God.
Yes.
It's about acting with justice and compassion,
Yeah.
extending mercy to others, and always remembering that we are but humble servants walking in his presence.
And living intentionally means striving to embody those qualities in our daily lives, in our interactions with others, and in the choices we make.
It's about letting our faith be our guide, allowing the love of God to flow through us and touch every aspect of our being.
And it's not about being perfect.
Right.
We're all going to stumble and fall along the way. But the important thing is to get back up, learn from our mistakes, and keep moving forward.
That's the beauty of God's grace. He doesn't expect us to be perfect. He just asks that we come to him with open hearts, willing to learn and grow and become more like him each day.
And that journey of growth and transformation is what makes life so exciting.
Yeah.
So full of possibilities.
Yeah.
It's about constantly discovering new facets of ourselves, our faith, and the world around us.
It's about embracing the adventure of faith, knowing that God is walking alongside us every step of the way, guiding us, supporting us, and loving us unconditionally.
Well, y'all, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling mighty inspired.
Yeah, me too.
The McGie story is a powerful reminder that we can choose to live a life that's full of joy, purpose, and connection.
It really is inspiring, isn't it?
It is.
Their story shows us that we don't have to settle for a life that feels empty or unfulfilling. We have the power to create a life that reflects our values and our love for the Lord.
And it all starts with that decision to live intentionally, to be mindful of our choices, and make sure they're leading us in the right direction.
Think about it this way. If you're planting a garden, you don't just scatter seeds randomly and hope for the best.
Right.
You carefully choose the seeds, prepare the soil, and tend to the plants with love and attention.
That's a mighty fine analogy.
It is.
And just like a garden needs constant care and attention, so does our spiritual life.
That's right.
We got to be intentional about cultivating our relationship with God, nourishing our souls with his word,
Yes.
and allowing his love to take root and grow within us.
It's a beautiful image, isn't it?
It is.
And it reminds us that living intentionally isn't a one-time decision.
Right.
It's an ongoing process of growth and transformation.
Now, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, community.
Okay.
The McGees really emphasize the importance of surrounding yourself with like-minded folks who can support and encourage you on your journey.
That's so crucial.
It is.
We weren't meant to walk this path alone.
Right.
We need each other.
Yes.
We need that fellowship, that shared sense of purpose, that encouragement to keep going when things get tough.
It's like that verse in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10.
Okay.
Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up.
That's a powerful reminder that we're stronger together.
Yes.
We can lift each other up, share each other's burdens, and celebrate each other's victories.
And thinking about the McGee story, it makes me wonder, how can we in our own communities create that kind of supportive and loving environment? How can we be more intentional about reaching out to others, building bridges, and extending God's love to those around us?
That's a wonderful question to ponder. And I think it starts with small acts of kindness, with simple gestures of love and compassion. It's about being a good neighbor, lending a helping hand, and offering a listening ear.
It's about treating folks with respect, even when we disagree.
Yeah.
It's about seeing the good in others, even when it's hard to find. And it's about remembering that everyone's fighting their own battles, carrying their own burdens.
It's about showing grace and mercy just as God has shown it to us. And it's about building bridges instead of walls, seeking understanding instead of division.
Thinking about it, I reckon the McGee story is more than just about homesteading.
I agree.
It's a testament to the power of love, faith, and community. It's a reminder that we can choose to live differently, to build a life that's rooted in something bigger than ourselves.
It's a call to action, inviting us to step out in faith embrace the adventure of life, and build a world where love, compassion, and generosity reign supreme.
Well, bless your hearts, y'all. I hope this deep dive into the McGee homestead has sparked a little fire in your souls, a desire to live more intentionally, more authentically, and more in line with God's plan for his wife. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Lean into your faith, reach out to your community, and let's build something beautiful together. Now go on and spread that love, y'all.